Hey there everyone, today we have some interesting news from the world of martial arts. Now as you may already know, the UFC Hall of Famer George St-Pierre recently announced an epic comeback.
Speaking of those three entities, fighter, promoter, you're going to be returning.
Yes.
But what's even more interesting is that it will not be in MMA. The discipline that he's choosing is actually no-gi grappling at a tournament which the UFC does support is going to be held on December 14th. But yet the name of his opponent is still being kept secret. However, all indications are that it could be the undefeated Russian fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov. Although for many, this information may seem a little too incredible, in this video we are going to try to convince you that this much desired fight will take place.
That fight, I want it to happen. Khabib wanted to happen, but UFC did not want to happen.
So let's go over all the details together. Get comfortable and let's get started.
And cheers.
Now we can agree that in the world of mixed martial arts there are many great fights that fans yearn to see, but for various reasons they just never take place. However, among all of these lost opportunities, there is one fight that millions of fans dreamt of, a fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and George St-Pierre. Everyone was always wondering who is stronger, whose fighting style is better. Can Khabib defeat a fighter who can take the fight to the ground and control it there? But it really didn't go anywhere beyond rumors. Both fighters have already completed their careers, but their potential confrontation is still being discussed.
Khabib got offered $100 million after he's retired to fight Floyd Mayweather. $100 million.
Is that crazy, buddy?
$100 million. You can ask Floyd, you can ask everybody. And Khabib said, no, I'm retired. I told my mother I'm retired. I'm gonna keep my word to my mom.
It's gonna be my last fight. And if I give my word, I have to follow this.
I don't need like too much, you know. Even if you're billionaire, you never eat more than one bread in one day, you know.
After all, these two exceptional athletes represented the pinnacle of their art in their respective weight categories. Nurmagomedov is considered one of the most dominant fighters in lightweight history, and George St-Pierre successfully defended his welterweight belt for many years. With an impeccable record and a huge fan base, their fight in the ring would be an epic event that unites the two dimensions of mixed martial arts. Fights between Nurmagomedov and St-Pierre could open up new chapters in the history of this sport and attract the attention of the whole world. In 2017, George St-Pierre ended his career on a high note with an impressive victory over Michael Bisping in order to win the UFC middleweight title. However, St-Pierre has always expressed a desire to try his hand at the world of boxing, but his contract with the UFC would not allow him to freely explore those new horizons. Thus, there was some disagreements between the fighter and the organization. In 2019, George was seriously considering a comeback and was expecting a call from one of the UFC's brightest stars, Khabib Nurmagomedov, who at the time had successfully defended his belt twice and became the king of the lightweight division. Many fans dreamed of seeing these two outstanding champions clash and find out whose fighting style is better. However, the challenge never happened, and the possibility of this epic showdown just remained a dream for many fans. However, Nurmagomedov did not rule out the possibility of a return, and in February of 2021, he stated that a fight with St-Pierre really turns him on. That's when someone says the name St-Pierre, I just want to get up and run 10 kilometers. When you talk about GSP, it really turns me on. Now these are Khabib's words, but George St-Pierre did not remain in the shadows and was always at the forefront, demonstrating his dedication to training and maintaining excellent physical shape. His regular media appearances and comments only increased interest in his possible return. All MMA fans dreamed of the return of this Canadian champion who, even at the age of 40, looks better than half of the current UFC fighters. But contrary to some disappointments and rumors, there is hope that we will still see this long-awaited fight. And that is why, in the modern world of MMA, there is a fading interest in the sport. Even the most anticipated fights are not as hot as they used to be, and UFC pay-per-view sales have dropped below 1 million since Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier's third fight in July of 2021. The return of John Jones and the duology of Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira slightly revived the public, but the general interest in MMA is still weakened. However, Dana White, the president of the UFC, has a real opportunity to return one of his stars to the octagon, and it does not even require a real fight, just organizing a grappling fight, And no fight could be more attractive than a fight between two MMA legends, Khabib Nurmagomedov and George St-Pierre. And now the UFC boss has a real chance to put together this amazing tournament in December and create an epic end to the year. The grappling fight between Khabib and GSP could be a key event that will bring back a lot of interest in MMA. Both fighters have never stopped training, and even now, the fight between these two UFC Hall of Famers will be expected with more anticipation than any other regular tournament. However, in January of 2023, Khabib announced his retirement from MMA. Most likely, he was just simply tired of the busy schedule, flights, and taking care of his fighters. He just wanted to find some peace and quiet.
He's coming to USA without his family. He stay here 1-2 months just for help, you know. He don't take money, nothing. He just come and help all team. He rent big house for team. He rent a lot of cars for team, and nobody pay. He pay for everything, you know.
But in April of 2023, he left a cryptic caption in one of his training videos. July, I have to be ready, not MMA. Now, is this a hint of his possible return? Well, now it is July, and on the night of July 7th, George St-Pierre announced his return to the UFC. And as we said, the Canadian will perform on December 14th at a grappling tournament, which will be held under the wing of the UFC.
So then it comes down to one thing, and that's money. And now anybody can look and say, in the end, yeah, for that amount of money, I'll do it.
The name of his rival is not yet known. Maybe Khabib also decided to hint at a comeback. Fans are awaiting for answers to these questions, and if Khabib does return, it will not only be a huge fight for MMA fans, but also mean the return of one of the best fighters in MMA history. Now, a lot of mystery and hints surround Khabib's return. Perhaps he simply craves new challenges and seeks to surpass himself. And if that happens, then MMA will once again be in for a huge moment when the Eagle will rise with renewed vigor and prove that he remains undefeated in the octagon. Therefore, Dana White is obliged to conduct this fight. And if you guys like this video, go ahead and let us know down in the comments. Do you believe that this fight will take place someday?